It's homecoming week at Bloomfield Hills High School. Tonight, your Blackhawks, led by Tanner Slazinski and Alec Ward, are about to take on the Lake Orion Dragons. The biggest crowd of the year has gathered in and around the bleachers, and school spirit has never been higher. This special event joint broadcast telecast is being presented by BHSTV and Bloomfield Community Radio, WBFH, The Biff. Now, it's time to go up to the booth and hear from WBFH Sports Director Jack Brown and Evan Katz.
The following is a special presentation of WBFH Radio and the Biff Radio Network.
With that, welcome everyone, one and all, to homecoming football here on 88.1 WBFH The Biff and BHSTV. I am your WBFH Sports Director, Jack Brown. Alongside me here today is Evan Katz. Evan, how are you doing?
I'm doing great tonight, Jack. It's my second game, I think, with you in color commentary, so a little nervous, but we'll get through it.
Well, it's your second game this season. You've done this with me a handful of other times before, so you're not completely inexperienced, my man. So tonight, the Blackhawks are taking on the Lake Orion Dragons, ranked number 8 in the state, and it's going to be an intense game of football out here tonight for Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, the keys to the game to watch tonight for the Blackhawks is it's important for Tanner to find a rhythm early after coming back injured off of, we don't know if he was fully recovered last week. He was still trying to get the groove with the offense. And also for the defense, it's imperative for them to get some serious stops.
Yes, as the Blackhawks currently lined up in the tunnel, just waiting for them to take the field momentarily as we're watching the Blackhawk Marching Band here performing one of their many famous songs. For those of us watching on BHS TV, you will be getting to view their full halftime show along with the homecoming court for this year. It's going to be a fantastic game between two high-quality football sides.
Both student sections are well represented tonight. The Blackhawks are full. I think that it's a full house down in the student section down there, and then we could see the Lake Orion student section right across from us in bright construction lights as the marching band is getting ready for their national anthem.
Yes. As the Blackhawks, well, currently the Lake Orion Dragons are taking the field. However, they're currently sectioned off into the corner. They do not get quite all the hype for tonight's matchup as they now take the field here at the Blackhawks Stadium, only roughly 20 minutes south of Lake Orion High. I've been to Lake Orion before, not a very long drive from here. One of the best teams in the state, and Lake Orion is, in fact, back.
It is indeed back. We touched on it a little bit in pregame of the division struggles this year. It seems Clarkston, like I mentioned earlier, is suffering as the Blackhawks get ready to take the field.
And here we go. Blackhawks take the field. Led by star quarterback Tanner Slazinski, Alec Ward, 2-star commit to Central Michigan University, and Devin Holmes, local celebrity, and many, many others' names who we will be calling tonight here on WBFH and BHS TV. Once again, we'd like to thank you for joining us here tonight, taking some time out of your Friday to watch some fantastic football.
Absolutely. So, Jack, tell me a little bit about what if we receive the ball first, what do you think should be the first couple ideas? Because, as you know, the first couple of plays are always pretty written down beforehand of what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, just set the tone early. Get some big passes off to guys like Alec Ward. And with that, now we should be waiting just momentarily as the marching band now walks off the field for another one of the many homecoming traditions we have at Bloomfield High School, getting our school choir, who is about to perform a concert tonight, hence why since one of our great men, Eddie Eichhorn, will not be up here in the booth with us. So now, here we are. Let's take a brief moment to honor our country and those who have fought for our freedoms with our national anthem.
Placing your hand over your heart as we face the flag in the south Jessica Riley leads the Bloomfield Chorale and Jills in the singing of our national anthem.
Twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, high school for an exciting night of football between the Bloomfield Blackhawks
An absolutely
and the Dragons
beautiful
of Lake
rendition
Orion.
of our great nation's national anthem from the Bloomfield Chorale and Jills. Spectacular performance as always from them. So with that, tonight is obviously the biggest game of the season, and Lake Orion comes in as big favorites over the Blackhawks. As I said before, Lake Orion ranked number 8 with and it seems to be the Blackhawks will be starting with the ball with kickoff coming momentarily here on WBFH or BHSTV, whichever you're choosing to watch us through. I am WBFH Sports Director Jack Brown alongside Evan Katz as the kicker for Lake Orion puts the ball down and is getting ready to send it off. That is Connor Ross with number 21, Evan Knox, and another man back deep to return it for the Blackhawks. Should be an epic game of football as always. Connor Ross has the ball up on the tee, and we're just about set for Bloomfield Hills High School football here on 88.1 WBFH or BHSTV. The ref's blown his whistle. Let's kick it. And it's going to be taken around the 5 by Evan Knox. Knox taking it to the 20. Outdoes his man. Gets taken down to the 25. First down Bloomfield. Tackle made by number 40, Kobe Manzo, for the Lake Orion Dragons.
Positive yards for Evan Knox, though. Although it was only to the 20, it was better than getting stopped at the goal line.
Absolutely. So now it's first down and 10 for Tanner and company, coming in against a rather formidable defense. You know, they have held some phenomenal teams, some phenomenally low scores. So now Tanner lines up under center. 3 wide, 1 in the backfield, 1 in the slot for Slazinski. Lake Orion encroaching a little bit. Slazinski hands it off, and he's going to get swallowed in the backfield for a 2 or 3 yard loss for the Blackhawks. I think that was number 7, Bailey Snyder on the run.
And Jake, that was from the right side of the Lake Orion defense. That was a full-on blitz right there. So, and clearly the right side was not prepared for that. So, 2nd and 15 now from the 20-yard line for the Blackhawks.
So, not the best first play for them in any way, shape, or form, but they can easily recover from this. It's now 2nd and 13. Already have a man out wide, number 17, Alec Ward.
And it's important, Jake, to get Alec Ward off to a great start early. Again, we mentioned the struggles from the entire offenses. That is a incomplete pass.
That one was intended for number 4, Christian Ferris, making his return to Blackhawk football tonight, so we'll be calling his name a lot as he gets a lot of targets. Almost caught that one like Julian Edelman at Super Bowl 51.
I do not recall that Super Bowl 51 play, but yes.
Well, that's on you. 3rd and 15 now, 10:58 remaining in the first quarter. 3 wide, 1 in the backfield for Tanner Slazinski, who's in the shotgun. Fumbles the snap, and he's just going to take the loss. That's going to bring up 4th down.
Not the start the Blackhawks wanted there. It was going backwards there right from the 25, starting with a incomplete pass and then that fumble. So let's hope the defense can handle down for it.
Yeah, that was not the optimal way to start off your offensive possessions for Bloomfield. Again, they have to get something going. They need to stop here, and then they need to just get right back on it. As backed up against his own end zone, let's see what our punter can do here. A fake punt there. Punt almost blocked, and it's going to take a Bloomfield bounce to around the 35-yard line. Wow, a spectacular punt there.
Howell Mitchell for Lake Orion was lined up at the 50-yard line, so that did take an impressive Blackhawk bounce going
to 34.
Going to 34, giving the Blackhawks a little more comfort, not worrying about the the defense having to pinch right too early.
Yeah. So now here we go. It's 1st down and 10 for the Lake Orion Dragons. Number 2, Blaze Lore in the shotgun. 3 wide, 1 in the backfield, 1 in the slot. Man in motion is number 11, who he hands off to. Gets to the outside. He's going to get a 1st down and a whole lot more.
And a big carry for the Dragons, number 11.
Sidelines, 30, 20, 10. Touchdown, Lake Orion Dragons. That was
Howell Mitchell on the play. Mitchell Howell.
An absolutely fantastic touchdown there by Lake Orion. Sets the pace early for them and puts them up 6-0 on top of the Blackhawks.
The right side there for Lake Orion was completely open, for Lake Orion was completely open with that big split gap.
Yep, and more importantly, they got the blocks upfield that they needed in order to turn that, what was going to be around a 6-yard gain, into a touchdown as Connor Ross lines up for the PAT. Kick is up, and it is low, but good.
7-0 lead early for the Lake Orion Dragons. As the the marching band is good and trying to get the student section going with a Let's Go Hawks chant.
So with that, score is now 7-0 with 9:52 remaining in the first quarter. You're watching Bloomfield Hills High School football on BHS TV and listening to it on WBFH 88.1, the Biff Radio Network.
The recruiting of high school game officials never stops, especially for women. Only 11% of high school officials are women. I was fortunate to play high school sports, where so many men and women gave their time as officials. Now it's my turn. Joining a local officials association is the key to getting training, getting games, and getting the support I needed to make officiating fun and enjoyable. I can stay involved with the sports I love, I enjoy working with the kids, and I even met my husband through officiating. There's help wanted, just whistle.
For Mitchell Howell of Lake Orion, and that puts them up 7-0 already in this homecoming clash.
We saw a lot of squibs last week. Do you think there's a possibility for a squib here?
I don't know. That's up to Lake Orion. The first kick went all the way down to the 5. My boy Connor Ross clearly knowing what he's doing here.
Connor Ross lining up for the kick. Referee signal has been given. And we're off.
Not quite yet.
Let's
kick it. As it's now taken at around the 5 by Evan Knox. Knox gets through runs into around 3 or 4 Lake Orion defenders, gets it to the 26.
I honestly think Lake Orion defenders pushed him an extra 2 or 3 yards there, but nice job by Evan Knox and the return team for the Blackhawks to get quite a couple extra yards off the push.
Yes, great job there. So now it's 1st and 10 for the Blackhawks on their own 27-yard line. Already down 7-0 early in this homecoming clash. Tanner Slazinski lines up in the shotgun, 2 wide, 2 in the slot, 1 in the backfield. Let's see what he can do here.
I think it's going to go to the right, and scrambling is Slazinski.
Drops back, and he's going to
be hit out of bounds.
And I think that will count as a sack.
Yes, because the QB still had it, and it was, I think, behind the line of scrimmage. So, yeah, that will be 2nd and 10 on the 27, according to our scoreboard here.
Well, they're going to lose 2, so it's going to be 2nd and 12 from the 25 for the Bloomfield Hills Blackhawks. Let's see what they can come up with here. 2nd and long situation has Dominic Curdy already out there preparing for a punt. 2nd and 12 now for Tanner. Same formation as last play. Him in the shotgun. Tanner hands
running
it off
to the left.
Number 7, Bailey Snyder, who gains a few yards. Respectable run on the play.
That was, again, the holes are starting to work for the Blackhawks. As we mentioned in our keys to the game, you have to be aggressive in staying with what you have. Although you might be down early, you got to stay with it and keep that positive mindset.
Absolutely. So now it's 3rd and long, 3rd and 7 to be exact. From the 30-yard line for the Blackhawks, they need to get it to the 37 in order to avoid punting it once again. Tanner Slazinski running 3 wide, 1 in the backfield, him in the shotgun. Tanner dropping back to throw, scrambles, has to move out of the way, avoids 1 Lake Orion defender, throws off his back foot. Alec Ward bobbles it, but it's out of bounds.
If we were playing college here, that would have been a complete pass, as he only needs 1 foot in college. But here we're listening to high school football here on 88.1 and watching it on BHS TV.
Well, you only need 1 foot in high school as well. It's 1 foot all the way up to the NFL.
So why do you think that is? Because that doesn't help the development state for a player as they move on up, because they're so used to that 1 foot getting in. Why would you change it to 2 at NFL?
I don't know, that's on them, but now it's 4th down and long for the Blackhawks. Punt formation is out. Dominic Curdy back deep to punt it with, I think that's number 17, back deep to return. High snap and nearly blocked. Dominic Curdy gets it off number 11, deepest apologies, back deep to return, gets it out to the sideline.
42-yard line.
42. And that was Mitchell Howell, the 5'10 senior, put down as a slot receiver and a defensive back. Rather short for both those positions at only 5'10". 1st and 10 now for the Lake Orion Dragons from their own 40-yard line.
I think the same space the Lake Orion Dragons started last time, so it's important for the Blackhawks to say, hey, that was a one-time thing. We're going to keep you at the 40-yard line or not go to the end zone.
Yes. So now Blaze Lauer in the shotgun with 4 wide, 1 in the backfield, sends Mitchell into motion, hands it off, and he's only going to gain 1 or 2 yards on that play. That was number 40 on the run there, Kobe Manzo.
Neely Hunter with the tackle there for the Blackhawks. That was an amazing open field tackle, as it was him or the end zone.
Absolutely. So now for Blaze, it's 3 wide, 1 in the slot, 1 in the backfield, sends a man in motion. He's going to hand it off to number 10. Number 10 gets to the outside. He's going to get a 1st down and a lot more yardage. Breaking everything there was Drew Van Heck.
2 spread out again. We touched on it again in pregame. Last week, Southfield mixed us up a little bit with a lot of pinches and spreads. We're seeing a lot of spreads from the Blackhawk defense early.
Yeah, and Drew Van Heck able to take advantage of that weakened cornerback position and gained a very respectable run. 4 wide, 3 to the right for Blaze Lauer in the shotgun. Once again, hands it off, and he's
a better stop this time.
Absolutely swallowed up with only around 3 yards on the gain. That was number 40 once again, Kobe Manzo.
Again,
and DKH on the tackle.
great play by DK. It was a way better stop than our first down run. He knew he had the sideline with him, so great job by DK there.
Yes, so 2nd down and 7. They're going to give it to him as hands off once again to Manzo, but it was actually a keeper. That fooled me, I'll tell you that much. Blaze Lahr able to get the ball on the sneak, even fooled me as the broadcaster, and that's when you know that you had a good trick.
I'm wondering to see if it fooled our BHS TV camera guys up there, because you gotta love those play action types.
Yes, so 3rd down now. Blaze dropping back for his first pass attempt of the day, and it's going to be way overthrown to number 13, Sam Starich.
Sam Starich, I think, misread the route there. Blaze threw it a little 5 yards deep, and then what's his name?
And then our boy Sam Starich was not quite able to go that far. But 4th down, and they're going to keep their offense on the field.
This is risky here. I think this is too early in the game for this. This is that is just me though.
Wide receiver pitch, and he's going to get the 1st down and a few more. And they're going to say, I think they're going to give it to him.
Yeah.
1st down, Lake Orion, after the run by Drew Vanek.
That was a play by Drew Vanek. That was a pull out of TJ Hawkinson's playbook, a little hurdle over top.
Yes, TJ Hawkinson, 1st round draft pick for the Detroit Lions in the 2019 NFL Draft. So now it's 1st down and 10 for the Dragons from the Blackhawk 33. Lahr in the shotgun now. 2 wide, 1 in the slot, 1 in the backfield. Blaze Lahr hands it off to number 40 once again as Kobe Manzo gains a respectable 5 or 6 yards on that run. Actually, they're only going to mark him for 1 or 2.
Jack, I'm not minding our improvements to our defense, our run defense especially so far. The last 3 runs, I think, have only been for 3 or 4 yards each.
Yeah, well, a lot of those have been runs right up the middle. The runs out to the side, though, have been very hard to defend as Blaze Lahr does a draw to the outside, and I think there's a fumble on the play, but that doesn't matter either way. It's going to be a loss of about 1. As it's now 3rd down and 8 from the 30-yard line for Lake Orion. Blaze Lahr still out there with 4 wide, 1 in the backfield and 3rd and long in the shotgun. Low snap, drops back to throw, scrambles his way out of the defense, and he is going to not get tackled. Takes it to the 20, 15-10. Lahr tackled within the 10-yard line. 1st and goal, Lake Orion Dragons.
Lahr used the sideline to his advantage there. The Blackhawks were they had 3 men on him to try to push him out, and then Lahr just moved right to the left.
Yep, and that is exactly what you want to do if you're a quarterback in that situation, pulling out all the stops and able to, hold on, penalty on the play. Deems apologies, folks, and that's going to move the ball back.
I'm guessing it was a holding penalty, possibly?
Presumably. I think it might have actually been a false start. But anyways, 3rd down once again. It's going to be around 3rd and 12 for the Lake Orion Dragons. 4 wide, 1 in the backfield for Blaze Lahr as he's going to roll out to the left, trying to find a man deep, and he's going to connect. No, he will not. Excellent defense.
Yes, excellent defense there by Blackhawks, having 2 on the double team in our man down there just to make sure he did not get by in case the first one missed.
Yeah, that was number 25, Nico DePonio, the impromptu quarterback in the game against Oxford after Tanner Slazinski had to back out for a short while. And once again, Lake Orion stays out on the field on 4th and very long.
I'm thinking this is way too early to go for it. But hey, they converted it last time, but it was 4th and 5 last time, I believe. So a little farther as 4th and 12 from balls on the 35-yard line.
Yes. So once again, Blaze drops back to throw, tries to find a man deep, and he's going to connect with number 11, who just falls down, gets the 1st down. Mitchell Howell burning the Blackhawk defense over top. not only with the only touchdown of the game so far, but also over the top as well. 1st and 10 from the 11 for the Lake Orion Dragons, up 7-0 with 4:42 remaining in the first quarter. You're listening to Blackhawk football on 88.1 and watching Blackhawk football on BHS TV. I almost said 88.1 again. Blaze pitches it out, and he's going to get to the outside. He will get yards and some more. Number 10
stopped
over
at
the
the
goal
1.
line. No. Stopped the goal line. 1st and goal for Lake Orion.
If we haven't already, this is a bend, don't break mentality. Jack, if anything, try to get them to have a false start and back them up 5 yards.
Yep, so now it's 1st and goal after the run from Drew Vanek. Lake Orion knocking on the door to go up by 2 scores with 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Blaze Lower and company running 1 wide, 2 in the backfield. Goal line set. Hand off to number 40, gets it in. Touchdown, Dragons. Easy score there by Kobe Manzo. Outside of that, an excellent touchdown. Just a simple go over the scrum, get the 6 points.
That's all you need to do. You don't need to get all creative with it and have an HB go to the left or right. You just got to go right up the middle since you were on the half-yard line there.
Yeah, so Connor Ross now out to get the extra point. Let's see if he will knock it through. Snap is right where it should be. Kick is up, and it is good for an extra point. 14-0 here, 3:47 remaining in the first quarter. You are listening to Blackhawk football here on 88.1 WBFH and watching it on BHS TV.
It's another fall Friday night, and your kids should be
playing high school football.
It's a fun game, and it's safer than ever.
It's safe because the rules, the coaching, and the equipment are better than ever before.
As a result, serious injuries are at an all-time low. Seriously.
And builds
strong schools, lifetime memories, and tomorrow's community leaders.
And it's mother approved.
It's a great game, and we want to teach it to your kids.
Yeah, very interesting drive there from Lake Orion. A few crucial first downs was what they needed at the end of the day to go up by 2 scores over the Blackhawks.
Well, Jack, it seems like Lake Orion wants to risk it to get the biscuit and go for it on 4th down. But what the Blackhawks have to do, be mindful, it was a much better improvement from last time, but you have to be aware of your breaking down of coverages. Because on that 4th and 12, I think there were 3 men around and 1 wide open.
Yeah, that right there was a great throw, great catch by Mitchell Howell. So far, one of the better players for Lake Orion. The 3 guys I've been mentioning a lot here, Drew Vanek, Mitchell Howell, and Kobe Manzo, 3 absolute stars for the Dragons tonight so far, as
Connor
Ross gets ready, and let's kick it once again. Back deep to return is Evan Knox, fielded it around the 3, and he's going to take it to the outside. He's got room to run. Takes it to the 40, 45, 35, gets pushed out at around the 38.
Yeah, Jack, that's exactly what you need from the return game. Every time Lake Orion's been starting at the 40-yard line, so it's a great way for Evan Knox to go down the right, or the left sideline, and have a great push of wide open air. Ball will be placed at the 37-yard line.
Yes, and so now it's 1st and 10 for the Blackhawks from the 37-yard line, where they're going to pin them at. 14-0 is your current score in favor of the Lake Orion Dragons. A very fast-moving first quarter so far, as Tanner sends 2 men out wide, and let's see how many he has to his left out wide. He's going to have none. Going to be running with with actually 2 men out there under center. 1 man in the backfield for Tanner Slazinski. Man in motion, Pitches it out to Snyder, who is not going to get anywhere. He'd be lucky to lose 2 on that one.
Jack, I mentioned in my keys to the game that we got to adjust our tempo to what is happening. I think the Blackhawks are honestly playing too fast on offense. So I think we have, like I mentioned, Tanner needs to look around a little bit more and figure out.
Yeah, Tanner is honestly slow so far. The Blackhawks in general are rushing these plays. They're rushing them when it comes to play calling, and they're rushing them when it comes to actually executing the plays themselves.
Absolutely.
Lake Orion, they're taking their time on play calling, making sure that what they got is right, and then they go out to get it. As now Tanner is in the shotgun, 3 wide, 1 in the backfield. Tanner dropping back to throw, trying to find a man deep, rolls out to the left, tries to get rid of it, and it's going to be incomplete pass.
Well, it's going to be intentional grounding, it looks like, because that was a late flag and there was no receiver in the area of that toss. So I think Tanner maybe should have taken the sack, but good for him because it looked like the defender was going right towards the hand for that ball.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that wasn't ruled as a fumble for the Blackhawks, as they're going to move way back due to the intentional grounding penalty.
I'm thinking it would have been a fumble if it would have stayed in bounds, because the way when it rolled out of bounds, it turns to be a fumble, but the team that had possession stays with the ball.
Yes. So very unfortunate situation as it's now 3rd down and about from here to Lake Orion for the Blackhawks. Have to get to the 47-yard line from the 19-yard line. Tanner running with all wide, none in the backfield. We're going to be seeing him sling his guns out here with this next one.
What we have to be careful of, Jack,
as Tanner lobs it deep, intended for, I think that was DeAndre Ross on the intended reception.
So, Jack, as I was saying, we have to be a little more careful of keep throwing the deep ball. We got to keep mixing it up. We can't get too aggressive with that deep ball.
Yeah, but of course, when you're at this point, you got to get it going at some point or another. And deepest apologies, that was intended for Christian Ferris and not DeAndre Ross. Just slightly overthrown. Now it's 3rd down or 4th down. It seems to be that that much like last week, we're a bit out of sync with what was going on with the scoreboard. And so, yes, it is 4th down. Dominic Curdy and the punt team is out to kick it to Lake Orion. Number 11, Mitchell Howell, back deep to return. So far, one of the stars on Lake Orion's team. Snap is very high. Punt almost blocked. And it's going to take a Blackhawk bounce as Howell is able to get onto it. Flag thrown.
I'm guessing that's going to be, another flag thrown. That's going to be maybe going backwards as I'm hearing my favorite song, so I got a little distracted.
Yes. Well, the first flag was thrown, I think, at around the 47-yard line for Lake Orion, and there's just more flags piled on top of that. And they're going to take it from the spot of where the ball went dead. And they're going to be, no, it's going to be right there. 1st and 10 Lake Orion at the Blackhawk 30.
So it must have been a penalty, wait. Hold on.
As it seems to be that the refs
holding
on Lake Orion.
Decline, offset, holding on Lake Orion again.
They're going to accept that one. That's going to trot it all the way back to the Lake Orion, not the 40, but it's going to trot them all the way back to the Lake Orion 35-yard line. 1st down and 10 for the Dragons. 2:29 remaining in the 1st quarter. Blackhawks down 14-0 here at Blackhawk Stadium.
I like this penalty could help us here with momentum because they've been scoring up 2 drives in a row, 14-0 for Lake Orion. So I think that will be a momentum for our defense as it is another play action.
Give me a handoff once again as he absolutely trucks over his man. That is my boy Monzo once again making the defense look like it was not even there. 1st and 10 from midfield now for Lake Orion. As Blaze Lore lines up too wide. One of the slot, one of the backfield. Hands it off once again to Monzo. Monzo finds his hole, and he's going to gain at least 10 yards.
Great push by the offensive line.
You know, Monzo right here listed on the roster as just a standard running back. You know, he has the finesse of a halfback, but he has just that brute force that you need out of a fullback. One of the ultimate wide receivers that I've seen the Blackhawks go up against. Blaze hands it off to Monzo once again, and he's going to fall forward for 7 or 8 yards.
Short of the first down marker, however, I think that will be 2nd and 8.
2nd and 2.
Oh, 2nd and 2, my bad.
But you got to think about it, though. He essentially just fell forward and got 8 yards out of it. That is extremely impressive as Blaze Lore lines up, hands it off to Monzo once again. The man trucks through the entirety of the Blackhawk defense, easily gets the first down, and gets them up to the Blackhawk 21-yard line. With 1:23 remaining in the first quarter, Dragons up 14-0.
So what I'm seeing a lot from the Lake Orion running back is they're running with their head down. And that's a way, I think, what I learned in track and field is a way to get a jump off the line. Instead of looking up, you want to look down for the first 2 or 3 steps, and then you want to launch up.
Then also from a football standpoint, you get your pads low, you control the play. As Lore hands it off to number 5 now, a new name. Actually, he's going to keep it himself. Fooled me once again. Blaze Lore gets around 8 on the play with 55.1 seconds remaining on the clock. First down, Lake Orion Dragons from the Blackhawk 14-yard line. Clock continues to run. We should get about another play or 2 remaining in the first quarter. Not the best start for the Blackhawks. However, for Lake Orion, if you are a Dragons fan listening anywhere around the world right now, you are getting a great game so far. Blaze snaps it and hands it off to number 5, who gets around a yard or 2. That is Marlon Robinson Jr., and that should take us to quarter time. 2nd down and 10. Let's see if Lake Orion will run another play. I'm not sure if they will so far.
I don't see a point of it. But, Jack, you mentioned 14-0, although, yes, it is disappointing. Yep. It is a vital improvement from last week. Within the first quarter, there was
a lot
of points on the board. That will be a running touchdown in.
An easy run to end off the first quarter here of play. A touchdown from Kobe Monzo once again. And with the impending PAT that will take us to quarter time, let's not cut away just yet. Actually, it will be the end of the first quarter. You're listening to Blackhawk Football.
We are lining up for the field goal still, so hold on one moment here as the first quarter ending will come in just a moment, pending the PAT from Connor Ross. And it is up, and it is good.
Easy money there. With a score, 21-0, the Lake Orion Dragons up on your Bloomfield Hills Blackhawks. You're listening to Blackhawk Football on 88.1 WBFH and watching it on BHSTV-News.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
Welcome back, everybody, to Blackhawk Football here on 88.1 WBFH and on BHS TV. Lake Orion Dragons up on the Bloomfield Hills Blackhawks 21-0 after one quarter of football and so far it's been an interesting game. I'm your WBFH Sports Director, Jack Brown, alongside Evan Katz. And, well,
Jack, what we got to focus on is our offense. Again, we mentioned it a lot in the first quarter. We need to slow it down and adjust to the Lake Orion's pace. They're taking their time to get to the ball. We got to take our time as well to make sure we have the right decision.
Couldn't agree with you more as Connor Ross has the ball up on the tee. Evan Knox back deep to return. 12 minutes in the half. Let's kick it. Ball goes out of bounds. I think that's going to be
flag,
out at
that looks like an out-of-bounds kick. There was a flag thrown by our line judge down near the goal line, so it looks like they will get him for an out-of-bounds kick.
So rather intriguing as it's going to take it all the way up to, I think it's going to take it to
the 35, I think?
I think so, yes, 35, and that's going to give the Blackhawks fantastic field position to start the second quarter. 21-zip, the current score. Tanner and company out there ready to hopefully get some points on the board in this next drive, which is that if they want to keep in touch with the Dragons, they have to do.
Score, yes. I don't think, if they don't, I don't think it would be a knock on the door, but you have to wake up if you're the Blackhawks as
Bailey Snyder gets a handoff. Actually, it's a flea flicker back to Tanner Slazinski, who's going to scramble, take it himself, and he's going to make that into a 5-yard gain.
Closer to the first down marker, I think if he would have handed it off, great decision and awareness by Tanner Slazinski there to get out back and then run left to the side.
And a very interesting great decision making there by Bailey Snyder to just pitch the ball back to Tanner Slazinski. You know, great
second and 5.
Yeah, great football sense. And it'll actually be 2nd and 8. He only gained 2 on that play for Tanner and company. Let's see what they can do as Tanner lines up in the shotgun. Bailey off to his right. 3 wide on the play. Tanner dropping back to throw. Getting rushed, throws it to Alec Ward. He's going to complete it.
That's one wide receiver you need in Alec Ward to be on it, and that was a great down low catch to keep the ball.
Yes, so now they'll bring up 1st and 10 for the Blackhawks from their own 48-yard line. The first down for the Blackhawks on the day. You know, after a lot of offensive troubles, just getting a play like that should be a great sigh of relief as number 4 Christian Ferris comes off the field for a play.
It's the same thing, Jake, we saw in the first quarter. They're starting to heat up on the first drive of the second quarter. In the first quarter last game, they were struggling a bit offensively. Same thing here, so it's important for them to keep that rhythm as Tanner goes down with a pile of Lake Orion guys on him.
Yes, so now that's going to bring up 2nd and 10. He ran with an all-wide formation. There was a twin stack closer to the actual line. A rather interesting formation that I hadn't seen the Blackhawks run yet this season. So that's going to bring up 2nd down and long. They're going to pin it at 2nd and 19. 10:47 remaining in the half.
Back where we started, or 5 yards ahead of where we started, but just about where we started.
Yeah, so second and long now for the Blackhawks. Looks to be 2 wide. One in the backfield for Tanner. Tanner dropping back to throw. Throws it to Alec Ward, who drops it. 3rd and long.
For 3rd and long, I don't think you run it here as it is 3rd and 19. I think you send all receivers out and go cross routes across the field and hope for the best.
Yeah, realistically, that's all you can do right now. From their own 41-yard line, they need to start producing now if they want to keep in touch with one of the best teams in the state.
I think, as it being 3rd and 19, I think you could maybe get, 12 or 13 yards, and
Easy.
then you go for maybe a 1st down. As it looks like there was a bit of a hold.
Oh, he was all over his man. Pass intended for...
There is a red flag on the field. I don't know if that's meant to be a flag or not.
Well, you know, it could be new colors they could be using. Or also remember, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. as I think that will be pass interference. No, it will not. So it will be.
Yes, it will be pass interference on the Lake Orion side. That should be, is it automatic first down? Or no, we learned that last week. It is not an automatic first down here in Michigan.
No, it is not, and it doesn't even replay the down, but it will be just a few yards shy. So now that brings up the question, do you go for it here? Because I think now it is 4th down
and
for the Blackhawks.
I think it's going to be 4th and 6. So I think you do go for it. You got to keep them guessing. You got to change it up a little bit.
Actually, the down counter and the scoreboard still say it's 3rd down. So now it's turned from 3rd and very long to 3rd and very short for Tanner and company. 3rd and 2 is what the PA announcer just said as the Friday night lights come on here at Blackhawks Stadium for homecoming football here on 88.1 and on BHS TV. Current score is 21-0 in favor of the Lake Orion Dragons over your Bloomfield Hills Blackhawks.
We were under the lights, Jack. For pregame, the lights were starting to warm up.
Yes, so now it's 3rd and short. Tanner running a very interesting formation. I think it's a bit of an offset eye, and whatever the play they're trying to get off will not work.
It looked like to be a fake to the running back, and then Tanner would take it back and throw it to the left side, but no one could get open in time, so that will be 4th and a while back.
So now here we go, 4th and I'm gonna say probably 4th and 7 for the Blackhawks now. May as well send out the punt unit once again so far. Offense not firing on all cylinders. Only 1 first down on the game so far on the biggest night of the year.
Offense looks like it's staying on the field here, Jack.
So they are going to go for it. 4th down, similar sort of formation as the last play. Tanner dropping back to throw, finds his man. It's going to get caught for a first down.
Nice catch on the right side, using, again, I've been saying it a lot tonight, using the sideline very well, both teams.
Yes, so now here we go, 1st and 10 for the Blackhawks. For the first time tonight on Lake Orion's side of the field on their 37-yard line.
Our goal is to at least get into the red zone here.
Yes.
In order to stay in this game, there's 9 minutes and 29 seconds left in this or the quarter and the half. But
yes,
in order to get a good drive, is it a big sack from Lake Orion?
Well, if you want to get a drive going, that is not how you start that. Absolutely 0 blocks on there. That's going to be a combination of number 12, Dom. Not Dom Bruno. He's listed as our quarterback, but a large combination of people there to make it now 2nd and very long.
So it seems like tonight for Blackhawks offense, they get one very good play that drives them maybe 8 or 9 yards up the field, and then it seems there's some sort of big play on defense from a sack standpoint or a incomplete pass or a penalty that sends them backwards.
So now Tanner in the shotgun once again, drops back to throw, finds Alec Ward in the open field, and he is running to the races, to the 20, makes a man miss, to the 15-10, charges forward, 1st and goal Blackhawks.
Nice juke by Alec Ward. I thought he was going to go down at the 30, and then he last second moved to the right side.
Able to turn his body and get lots of extra yards. Fantastic job by Alec Ward that sets up a 1st and goal for the Bloomfield Hills Blackhawks and their first time in the red zone tonight as the ball is on the 6. Let's see what they can come up with here.
The gingerbread are running on the track. See that, Jake?
Well, what do you know?
I want candy.
Well, I don't have any on me right now. 1st and goal now for the Blackhawks. Tanner in the shotgun once again. Dropping back to throw. Dumps it off to Alec Ward. Caught. Touchdown Blackhawks.
That looked like a one-hander by Alec Ward at first to go down with it.
As he has taken a while to get up. Fell on the ball. But still, great catch for him and his second reception on the night. And the first for a touchdown. 21-6 is now your score Dominic Curdy out there to take the PAT.
Absolutely, Jack. That was a great drive. We seemed to, well, there was some breaking points in there going backwards and forward, but it seemed the Blackhawks finally found a path of taking their time and getting the ball down the field to the end zone.
Absolutely. So now here we go. Extra point is on the way. It's up, nearly blocked, and it's going to go wide right. 21-6. Dominic Curdy missing the PAT, but the Blackhawks still score, making your score 21-6 with 8:32 remaining in the half. You're listening to 88.1 WBFH, the Biff, and watching BHS TV. Don't forget, fans, at halftime, if you're listening to the Biff, you'll be hearing Evan Katz's halftime show live and uninterrupted. But if you are watching us on BHS TV, you'll get full coverage of not only the marching band's magnificent performance, but also of our homecoming court. So, excellent drive by the Blackhawks overall, making some very bad situations into some very great plays. Multiple multiple very long plays they had to get to just get those first downs, just to get that stuff going. But now they're back out there. 21-6 is your current score with 8:32 remaining in the half.
This generally helps the defense to provide. I think, okay, it's 21-6. Our offense is starting to kick in. Maybe not give up a score, but that means the offense has our back too. If we get a stop, we can help our offense. So a little bit of team play needs to happen for the Blackhawks. Because there's no I in team.
But there is a me as Dominic Curdy gets ready for his first kickoff of the night. Let's kick it. Going very long and deep. Going to go in the end zone for a touchback, and is going to take Lake Orion out to the 20-yard line. Excellent kicking there by one of the best kickers in the Oakland Activities Association, Dominic Curdy. Not only plays varsity football, but also plays varsity soccer here at Bloomfield Hills High School, and plays soccer for Liverpool FC, of course, based here in Michigan. Blaze Lure and gang getting ready to hopefully score another touchdown, get back up by 3 scores as they run 2 wide, 1 in the backfield. Let's see what they can come up with. Blaze handing it off to number 5. Actually, he keeps it himself once again.
Our broadcaster got tricked again, which probably means our upstairs got tricked with our camera guys. Another play action. It seems Lake Orion has that as their number 1 play type, having a play fake and then going to another position.
Yes, so fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times. Well, then I think that I may need to pay a bit closer attention to the plays as they unfold.
You might need to use your field goggles.
Hands it off, and he's going to take it. That is my man, Manzo, getting the first down and a few more yards to boot.
Yeah, you might need to start using your field goggles there, Jack.
Well, didn't need him there to see that big of a gain. 1st and 10 now for the Blackhawks. For the Dragons. Deepest apologies there, folks. From their own 35, Blaze Lore lining up in the shotgun. 3 wide to his right. Going to hand it off to Manzo once again. Jumps over his man and gets around 6 on the play. Tackle eventually made by number 15, if I'm not mistaken. That would be Joey Dorsch.
What the Blackhawks need to do is, again, we got to pinch a little more. It seems there's too many open field tackles on the middle of the field and like 1 Blackhawk there to get it.
So here we go. 2nd down. Lore pitches it off to Manzo. Manzo gets to the outside. He's going to actually lose a few on the play. Expert tackling there by the Blackhawks and expert pursuit of the play. Able to get that net loss in yardage. Going to make it 3rd and, they're going to say 3rd and, I would say 3rd and 6. Now, for the Lake Orion Dragons, Blackhawks, if they can get a stop here and then score again, we got ourselves a ball game, folks. 6:45 remaining in the half. 3 wide for Lake Orion. Going to hand it off to Manzo once again. Lohr keeps it himself, and he's got room to run to the 40, 30, 20, 10. Touchdown, Lake Orion Dragons. Blaze Lohr looking like a Lamar Jackson sort of character out there, getting the big yards on a quarterback rush.
That was like a Michael Vick type play.
I know. You know, you get when a great mobile quarterback can get you to amazing places at, you know, any level, especially at the high school level, with a run to the outside. It's going to put up 27-6. Connor Ross out to attempt the PAT that will give Lake Orion the 22-point lead with 6:30 remaining in the half. Kick is up, and it is good. Connor Ross so far 4 for 4 on the night. Well, that was a very simple drive. All they needed was a Blaze Lohr run to the outside. Take it to the left side, as a matter of fact. You know, Blaze Lohr showing himself to be a mobile quarterback as well as a rather effective pocket passer, although he has overthrown some what should be very easy passes.
Some easily caught passes have been overthrown by Lohr, but you mentioned that you hit it right on the head there, Jack. Great run to see the awareness using the dash marks down left side on Lake Orion sideline.
So now Connor Ross out for his 5th kickoff of the game already with 6:30 remaining in the half. Blackhawks, if they want to keep in touch, once again, they got to score and then get a stop and score again. So far, pretty much every drive for Lake Orion has been a touchdown. Ross kicks it off. Knox fields it at around the 2. Play on, says the ref, as he makes a man miss, getting his blocks, and he's getting to the 30, the 40, before he gets pushed out at the 42-yard line. These apologies. I think that is actually number 38, Kobe Reed, on the return.
Kobe Reed, again, 2 straight returns for the Blackhawks that have gotten them to at least the 35 to 40 range. I think they're starting to heat up a little bit, Jack.
At least the offense is starting to click. Defense still needing a little bit of work. However,
there's a penalty on the play for...
And it's going to be against Lake Orion, as a matter of fact. Rather intriguing. And that's going to take it over to their side of the field. 1st and 10 on the Lake Orion 43-yard line.
It looked like the referee gave the signal of unsportsmanlike conduct because he put his hands on his, or hands together.
Put his hands on top of his hands. 1st and 10 now for the Blackhawks. 4 wide, 1 in the backfield for Tanner Slazinski. Partner alongside him is Bennett Cooper, number 22. Hands it off to Cooper, and he's going to find room to run, gets the blocks, makes a man fall down, and he's into open field to the 20, 10. Gets tackled at around the 6-yard line. Excellent run by Bennett Cooper.
The Blackhawks must have practiced their finesse moves because that's the 4th play that we've seen. At the last second, the Blackhawk player turned to the right.
Yeah, looking like something straight out of one of those old NCAA games, and there is a penalty on the play, however.
Holding on the Blackhawks, that will send the play back to
around the 50,
49?
I think so. No, I think the play just got called back. Nope, they're going to take it now to the 47-yard line of the Blackhawks. I almost said the 53, but then I realized that this is not Canadian football, so it's going to be taken to the 47-yard line. 1st down once again for the Blackhawks, but now it's a 1st and 20 situation. Tanner running with a 4 wide, Bennett Cooper alongside him in the backfield. Let's see if Bennett Cooper can get another big run as Lake Orion rearranges the defense. 4 down on the line. Number 21, Evan Knox.
Flag on the play. It looks like the referee was trying to signal the play clock operator to get the clock going. I don't know if they will call that maybe a delay of game. I don't know.
I do not know, but it's going to be 1st down still. Tanner Slazinski motioning for some basic substitutions, and it's going to be on the Blackhawks. Moving
false
it back.
start on the Blackhawks. I don't know if that was because the referee couldn't get the attention or if that was just a false start.
Just a regular old false start, and that's going to make it 1st and 25 for the Blackhawks. Excellent field position and an even better run. Now has to move all the way back as Tanner runs 5 wide, 3 to his right, 2 to his left. Tanner dropping back to throw, rolls out to the right, finds a man deep, and it's not going to matter as it falls to the ground, intended for Christian Ferris.
That was a good try by Tanner Slazinski to try to get it in the window to Christian Ferris, but it just fell through at the last second.
And then Christian Ferris showing an excellent bout of sportsmanship to Lucas Spencer of the Lake Orion Dragons. 2nd and 25 now for the Blackhawks. They have to essentially travel from here to Lake Orion just to get to the first down. 5 wide for Tanner once again, needing a big play real quick. Dropping back once again. Number 24 nearly getting in. He's going to throw it to the ground right in front of the hands. So I think that was number 24. Nope. I think that was actually intended for Alec Ward right there.
As Ron Winnables decides to run right into me, as Lake Orion has been running it right on the, and now I'm getting a mic adjustment, thank you, Ron. The Lake Orion has been running it right through the Blackhawks, but it's the Blackhawk ball as they keep running backwards.
So here we are, 3rd down and 25. 5 wide, Tanner dropping back to throw, rolls right, throws it up, and that's not going to land anywhere near the target. It goes way out of bounds. 4th down, and
there was a receiver in the area, so I don't think there will be intentional. Nope, no flag for intentional grounding.
That would not have been intentional grounding either way, as he essentially was moving it, throwing the ball forward. Outside of that, what was great field position squandered by 2 penalties for the Blackhawks and 3 missed opportunities. 4th down and 25. As Bloomfield sends out Dominic and the punt crew to punt the ball away. As so far, only 1 drive is not ended in a punt for the Blackhawks. That one was a touchdown, giving them the 6 points they have. Very high snap, and he's going to have to make something out of nothing.
Wow.
Gets the punt off.
That was a pretty good punt for having high snap, and it looks there's a fumble
on the
field.
play.
Blackhawks are saying they have it. Nice. Maybe that was a strategy by the Blackhawks, but there have been 3 high snaps so far by the long snapper down there. So that's something to keep an eye on about how well we keep the ball and make sure our punter is actually ready for it.
Yep, but either way, Blackhawks retain the ball off of a very strange punting play. Gonna make it 1st down and 10, Blackhawks from their own 46.
I don't recall ever seeing that.
Well, you know, we take what's given to us here in Bloomfield as Tanner lines up in the backfield. 2 wide, 2 wide, 2 in the slot, 1 in the backfield. Tanner dropping back to pass. Finds his man. It's going to be an interception to number 9 as he's going to take it to the outside. It completely embarrasses a man. Out jukes another one, taking it down to the 20.
This seems, so now it is definitely Lake Orion football, but there's a fight on the ground again for the ball. Waiting for official signal on who has it.
Those on the field were saying Lake Orion had the ball, and the refs, it will be Lake Orion football.
So that was flag on the play. I think it might be on sportsmanlike conduct, maybe on Lake Orion.
Potentially, though. However, that I don't know if that will offset the interception. Pick was made.
No, the flag was thrown quite late after the interception, so I don't think that would offset a interception, Jake.
Yeah, so pick was made by number 9, Lucas Spencer. The first 2 turnovers of the game, and they come in a very peculiar set of circumstances.
Yeah, Jake, the ball went from the Blackhawks, we punted away on a high snap, then the Blackhawks, we covered it, and then threw an interception there, and now it is Lake Orion ball with a late hit on.
Still trying to figure out.
Late personal foul. I don't know what that signal means.
I think it probably was a late hit.
An offsetting penalties, maybe, because it looked like he called two different sides there.
Personal foul called against Lake Orion.
Either way, it's going to be first down Lake Orion.
Definitely will back it up a little bit, though, which helps out.
Yeah, but that's going to bring it to the... That's actually going to take it back over to Lake Orion's side of the field.
I think what the referee signaled on the first one, for those watching on BHS TV, maybe illegal hands.
Illegal hands to the face, possibly. But that's going to move the ball all the way back to the Lake Orion 30. Very peculiar set of circumstances. The pick was taken to the 20, but now moved all the way 50 yards back.
It's almost like it was a punt return and called for a fair catch at the 30-yard line.
Yeah, so it's almost like that last little segment just straight up didn't happen. Blaze Lure dropping back to throw, fires it deep to Mitchell, who drops it.
I think Mitchell lost his eyes, or took his eyes off the ball a little bit there. Otherwise, he would have been running straight for that end zone.
Well, he did seem to be slowing down, taking a few paces break. But it's now going to be second down and 10 for the Dragons from their own 30. Trying to make up yards quick.
Second and 10 from the 30. 5 minutes, 2 seconds to go. 28-6. Lake Orion Dragons over your
Bloomfield Hills Blackhawks. As Blaze Lore lines up 3 wide, 1 in the backfield. Gonna hand it off to number 5, and he's gonna take it to the outside. He's got room to run.
His own guy tackled him and pushed him out of bounds. Number 13 is
Sam Starich. Run taken by Marlon Robinson Jr.
That will be 3rd and 5.
Now it's gonna be 3rd and short, probably around 3 or 4. A very interesting series of events so far. Has Lake Orion now has 3 wide once again, gonna hand it off, and as Blaze keeps it for himself, and he's gonna go, gone. Touchdown Lake Orion Dragons. As there's a flag on the play though, but the touchdown still stands 34-6.
That is 2 straight rushing touchdowns in by
Blaze Lure.
By Blaze Lure there, pending the flag on the play though. Let's see what it is.
Touchdown still stands though.
Touchdown does still stand. You gotta put a little QB contain on there, as the Blackhawks allow 2 straight QB runs.
So now here comes the kick from Ross. Kicks it up and it is good. Putting the Dragons up 35-6 over your Blackhawks. 4:43 remaining in the first half. And this game has
shifted just a little bit. But, Jack, there's still plenty of time. Like I mentioned last week, 4:43 in this half, and then we still got another 24 minutes to play afterwards. So, still plenty of time. If they can do it in our half, we can do it back half.
Hi, my name is Tom Izzo, the men's basketball coach at MSU. The threat of school violence is something that affects everyone and needs to be taken seriously. Okay to Say is a confidential way you can report anything that threatens your safety or the safety of others. If you see or hear something that doesn't seem right, submit a tip to OK to Say. You can call, text, email, go online, or use the OK to Say app. You could be the one person who helps to prevent a tragedy.
when it comes to what's been going on out there, there have been a few key players for Lake Orion that have been the real struggles tonight for the Blackhawks. Quarterback Blaze Lohr, a rather short guy, but he's shifty. Already has 2 rushing touchdowns this quarter. There's also number 11, Mitchell Howell, who gained the first rushing touchdown with an easy run to the outside. Along with that, it's number 40, Kobe Monzo. The big man barreling through, but he ends up getting those plays done, and pretty much every run he's had outside of a few outliers has been 7 or 8 yards. As Connor Ross kicks it, going to be a rather short one. Flag on that one. I think a Lake Orion Dragon or two. Yep, false start on the kickoff.
That will be a re-kick for Lake Orion.
Yes, you cannot outrun your kicker to the 40. That is not legal.
It is not.
So that's going to move the ball back a few yards, back to 35. Going to make it even harder for the Dragons to pin the Blackhawks back. Connor Ross puts the ball back onto the tee. And we're
having a bit of tee issues, it seems like. Connor Ross puts it back on for the 3rd time.
I mean, it has been a tad bit windy out here tonight. Outside that, it's been windy, it's been cold, but as far as the conditions are concerned, it's been perfect.
It's perfect football weather.
Here comes the kickoff. Connor Ross, low squibber, and it's going to be taken at around the 17, and tackle's going to be made. Fumble on that one, but it goes out of bounds. 1st and 10 for the Blackhawks.
Lucky snap there for the Blackhawks, as it does go out of bounds, because it looked like what we saw in the Lions games versus the Chiefs. It was a peanut punch, as they called it.
Absolutely so. It is 1st and 10 from the Blackhawk 24-yard line. Tanner Slazinski gets ready to, now down by 29 points. You know, how do you keep a team like this fighting through a very difficult set of circumstances?
I think what Coach Loyer is going to tell them at the half is keep your head up, slow things down a bit. You have to, like I just mentioned on Lake Orion's offensive drive, use a little bit of QB contain, but also use what is doing good for you as well.
Yes, as Bennett Cooper gets the run on that one, gains about a yard or 2 on that play. Not the most that I've seen him get. However, certainly something that was effective. That now brings up 2nd and 9 for the Blackhawks. Kind of in a peculiar situation. So you're essentially been running a lot of the same sort of stuff over and over again as they once again head out 2 wide, 2 in the slot, 1 in the backfield. Tanner dropping back to throw. Throws it deep, way overthrown, intended for Christian Ferris.
He was going for the window game again, but
and it was that sort of window game that got the interception just a few drives ago. Actually, it was just on the last drive that pick was thrown on. So now, if you're Tanner, you gotta play a bit more conservatively. But also, it's a bit of a paradox. You know, you kind of have to play conservatively against a defense like this, but when you're down by this much, you have to at least go for something greater than what you have. 3rd down and 9 now for the Blackhawks. 3 wide, 1 in the backfield for Tanner, and there's going to be laundry on the field. I think it's going to be false start on the Blackhawks.
Timeout, it looked like the referee
timeout.
signaled.
So as we head into the timeout, this now brings up some questions. What do you think Coach Loyer is going to be discussing with his team, you know, hoping to get something going before we head into halftime, hopefully even a second score?
Coach Loyer, I think, is going to be telling his team, hey, listen, we're down, we might be down 35-6, but as my famous line says, there's always a chance.
Yep, and in one of the most famous sporting events of all, in one of the most famous football games of all time, not Super Bowl 51, but in the 1995 AFC wildcard round, the Buffalo Bills were down 35-3 against the Houston Oilers going into halftime, and they came out on top. So who's to say that the Blackhawks, at least, in theory, stand no chance?
What do you mean? We don't stand no chance. There's always a chance. You're setting me up for my line here.
I was saying, who's to say that, though, as Tanner drops back to throw, but he's going to take the sack, and I think there was a fumble on the play as well, but they're going to rule the ball down at the Blackhawk 16-yard line, bring up fourth and long.
Punt unit comes out as the Blackhawks are on their own side of the field, deep into the red zone.
Yep. Dominic Curdy really exercising his legs tonight, so well as Connor Ross. Special teams units seeing a lot of action out here. Is just very, very different sorts of plays that they've been seeing so far tonight.
It's been deep in the backfield as well. Another high snap. That is the 4th in a row. Gets off the punt, goes to the
30-yard line about. They're going to mark it down at the 27. 1st and 10 for the Dragons. 3 minutes remain. 35-6 your current score. You're listening to Blackhawk football on 88.1 WBFH, and you are watching Blackhawk football on BHS TV against the Lake Orion Dragons. When it comes to TV, also shout out to our friends at Orion Network Neighborhood Television, providing great content towards the Orion area. As Blaze Lure takes it to the outside, actually that is Mitchell, as it's going to be a very long run. Special shout out to Josh Solhaney listening into the game, former Biff staff member, just texted into Uncle Ron to say that I sound great. Thank you, Josh Solhaney, for the compliment, and thank you for your time on staff and for contributing to the pandemonium here at WBFH. Lake Orion now within the 15-yard line. Blaze Lore in the shotgun, 2 wide, 2 in the backfield alongside him. Sends a man in motion, and he's going to keep it himself, but he's going to get swallowed up.
This time the QB contain was there for the Blackhawks.
First hit made there by Joey Dorsch, the defensive end. Great job by him. He's listed as a linebacker, but I've seen this a lot. A lot of times a team may bring a linebacker down into essentially a glorified defensive end position. So with that, now it's 2nd and 10 on the 13-yard line for the Lake Orion Dragons, hoping to get an even greater leg up on the Blackhawks as we hit 2 minutes.
With the special teams out there so much, I'm wondering if that's why we've had a couple snaps. I wonder also if it's a new center long snapper out there that could be handling it out that Curdy is not necessarily used to. So,
yeah, and I think there was a timeout on the play there.
Yes, there was. With 1 minute 54 to go, don't forget, stay tuned here on 88.1 for an uninterrupted halftime show. But on BHS TV, you'll be watching marching band and all the homecoming festivities.
Yes, and this has been great homecoming week. Many festivities and events, and just overall, it's the best week of the school year as our homecoming court gets ready to take the field. You will be seeing that if you're watching us live on BHS TV, but if you're listening to us on 88.1, you will be hearing my compatriot Evan Katz delivering a fantastic halftime show, giving you updates on all things Michigan high school football, as Blaze Lore hands it off to number 5, but he gets swallowed up again. Marlon, that was actually Nicholas Graves on the run with Christian Ferris on the tackle.
3rd and 10 now.
A very interesting position for Lake Orion to be in. Minute 30 remaining in the half. So here we go. Blaze Lore lining up in the shotgun once again. 4 wide, 1 in the backfield. Minute 19, this should be the final drive for Lake Orion in the half. Blaze drops back to throw. Finds his man, gets the catch, spins off his man, trucks forward, but I don't think he got it. And that's going to bring up 4th down and very, very short. Or no, 4th down and around 3. I thought that was a bit longer. There will be at least 1 more play in the half. And Lake Orion keeps their offense out on the field instead of taking the easy 3. Blaze throws it up. Caught. No, incomplete. Turnover on downs. Fantastic defensive stop there for the Blackhawks. However, if that was caught, that could have been one of the catches of the year right there. You know, not that I, openly encourage, further degradation of a scoreline like this. But now it brings up 1st and 10 for the Blackhawks within the shadow of their own end zone. 47.2 seconds remaining in the half. Current score, and most likely the score heading into halftime, the Lake Orion Dragons 35, your Bloomfield Hills Blackhawks 6.
I think, Jack, just to be on the careful side, you run maybe 1 play to get it out of the back or front of the end zone, and then you maybe take a knee and send it to halftime.
Yeah, or I think at this point, so long as Tanner doesn't go into the end zone, you can pretty much just do whatever you want at this point. And I think that's sort of philosophy they're adopting as Tanner throws it off to number 16, tries to find some way forward, gets around 5 or 6 on the play. That right there was Nico DePonio.
The time is being stopped for timeout by the Lake Orion
Bloomfield Blackhawks. We might just be combining teams here as the Bloomfield student section is still trying to keep things as peppy as ever. Lake Orion student section, though, I must say, commend the Lake Orion student section, absolutely packing it out, taking the, by OAA Red standards, a pretty decently lengthy drive from Lake Orion to Bloomfield to come play off against the Blackhawks.
It seems it's quite full out here. The marching band has departed for their halftime show, as we mentioned. It seems to be a packed house on both sides.
Yeah, it's been a great showing so far by both teams. The scoreline, well, it may not be the best. It's been a great game. It's been a great game overall. 4 wide, 1 in the backfield for Tanner. 34.3 seconds remaining, 2nd and 5. Tanner drops back to throw, moving up in the pocket, trying to avoid the sack, but he goes down anyway. And I think that sack was single-handedly done by number 30, Joe Caddy.
I was looking for a holding penalty there, but none called. It looks like clock is winding down. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10.
And I think that will take us to halftime. Yep, the ref picks up the ball. So your score at the half: the Lake Orion Dragons 35, the Bloomfield Hills Blackhawks 6. You're listening to 88.1 WBFH and watching Blackhawk football on BHS TV. Stay tuned on both ends. On WBFH after the break, you'll be getting an uninterrupted halftime show from Evan Katz. And on BHS TV, you're getting halftime festivities.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
How great is the man? We would now like to invite all of our alumni to come out for the BHHS fight song. Ladies and gentlemen, the 161-member Bloomfield Hills Blackhawks Marching Band. Our show included featured soloists Joshua Picos on alto sax, Sophie Henderson on mellophone, and Maddie Hedges on snare. The dance soloist was Andrea Poe. The band is under the direction of Alan Posner, assistant director Kendra Peterson. Color guard instructors are Caitlin Dabertine and Amit Poitignan. The drumline instructors are Andy Dore and Sam Greenberg. Drum majors are Matthew Gutman, Michelle Sanjeev, and Katie Heath. The drumline section leaders are Jonathan Margoshin and Maddie Hedges. Color guard captains are Julia Bramchick, Lindsay Beck. Assistant captains Veronica Cruz and Maddie Titang. Bloomfield Band and Orchestra presidents, booster presidents are Mary Spiegel and Susan Mashburn. Go Blackhawks!
Now presenting your 2019-2020 homecoming grocery cart floats. Congratulations to all of the students nominated for homecoming court royalty. Your freshman Prince, Alan Spencer, and Princess, Julia Allen. Your sophomore Prince, Rishi Chana and Princess Gabriela Solis. Your junior Prince, Vivek Khan, and Princess Genesis Coleman. And now, your senior class of 2020 homecoming court nominees. Simon of Ohasira escorting Julia Abramczyk. Brett Albany escorting Grace Henderson. Jordan Hamilton escorting Jahan Kujain. And Devin Holmes escorting Brooke Lady and Noelle Sywak. Congratulations again to all of the nominees. And now, your 2019 senior homecoming royalty are your homecoming king, Simon of Ohasira. And your 2019 homecoming queen, Grace Henderson. Congratulations and thanks for a great homecoming week, Blackhawks.
Pull up rockin' all white like I'm God. Pull them up like I had to be trying me. Y'all gotta watch my life is inside. Just face on my daughter, she laughing and smiling. I know he a hit. The night got canceled. You will get left like a bitch. Hey, look, I am not stressed out. Give me your place, I don't want the rest. Give me the top, I'll pop back up on my skin. I be like 500 balls ahead of you. They do it, cause they see me on top to the super left, I'ma sing it on top. Press. Cardi don't need no press.
Blackhawk cheerleader.
So, I got my start in officiating when a friend told me I should try it. At first, I just did basketball, and I got hooked. Before long, I added baseball, softball, football, and volleyball. I really enjoyed giving back to the game, working with kids, and working with my local association to recruit and train new officials. I would like to say to anybody that officiating is a great way to help kids and stay connected to the game. We always need new officials. There's help wanted, just listen.
And it's going to be a very fun extra half of football, folks. This is going to be the first time we actually get through a full game in one night. Wouldn't that be something? And on time.
I mean, this game is going pretty fast-paced as well. So it's a really well-done, officiated game so far. Not too many problems there. Just Blackhawks need to pick up their pace and stop going backwards. There was a lot of laundry on the carpet or sacks that sent them back in the first half, so they need their offensive lineman needs to tighten up.
Yeah, and with that in mind, Dominic Curdy has the ball on the tee, and we're about ready to kick off this second half of Friday Night Lights here on BHS TV and on WBFH 88.1, the Biff Radio Network. Let's kick it as a kick is high, and it's going to be a false start. We're going to be kicking it once again.
We're going to get. I'll take that because that wasn't not the greatest of kicks, so I'll take that.
Hey, you know what? I'll take saying kick it again. One of my favorite sayings taken from one of my favorite people out there, Cameron Irvine. Great guy. With that in mind, now we're backing the ball up to the 35-yard line with Dominic Curdy.
We restart the second half.
Yes, 12 minutes in the third is the current time. 35-6 once again is your score. Dominic Curdy. Let's see if we can get one of those signature Dominic Curdy deep kicks into the end zone. One of the few kickers who I've seen in this county who can do it on a regular basis. Let's kick it. A very low one, but it heads down to the 10-5.
I'll take that rather than a 35-yard return.
Absolutely spectacular kick there by Dominic Curdy. Ball is taken out to the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Lake Orion Dragons. Lake Orion had a high-powered offense led by the likes of Blake Lure, who had 2 rushing touchdowns along with an extra one in the air. So let's see what they can come up with on this next one, or if they might see if they can start sending in their backups. Nope, they're keeping him blazing. They're keeping him blazing company.
There's still a game on hand, so I don't think it's backup time yet.
So Blaze with 2 men wide, 2 in the backfield. Hands it off, and he's gonna get swallowed up for, at best, he's gonna take it. No, at best he got back to the line of scrimmage, but they're going to give him a slight gain on play. Taken by Marlon Robinson Jr.
That run-stopping defense, we keep mentioning it, except on the QB running plays. I've thought it's been pretty well defended.
Yeah, however, those runs to the outside are lethal, as they always are in football. Man in motion as he hands it off to the man in motion, but he gets tripped up. That was number 13 on the carry, Sam Starch. The big man standing at 6 feet, 3 inches. And that's going to back him up. 3rd and 10 now for the Dragons. Going to be a very interesting start to the second half, as The Blackhawks student section, although a bit quieter than usual, still trying to keep things going as Blaze Lore is under pressure in the pocket, able to escape.
I think that might be like
man.
the second time tonight I saw great pressure guarding the quarterback down for a sack on the Lake Orion side. You mentioned the student section, a little quiet. They got listening to jams down there. They brought their own speaker because it seemed they did not like the music last week, so they brought their own jams this week.
Yes, well, the playlist curated did have some pretty heavy criticisms of it, most notably from cornerback Brett Almany. 4th down, and for the first time today, we're seeing Lake Orion's punting unit. Very interesting as Connor Ross gets his second listing on the board. Here comes the first punt for the Dragons.
That was a low punt as well. I think the wind shifted it, but it will get a Lake Orion bounce and go to the 38-yard, no, still going. 36.
36 to 37. You know, something I just now realized, they're called the Dragons and their quarterback is Blaze. How much of a coincidence is that? And a rather intriguing one at that. So with
you're trying to set me up for a pun again, and you're trying to get me to sigh. I know what you're trying to do here, Jake.
No, I wasn't trying to set you up. I was just making an interesting observation. As it's now 1st and 10, Blackhawks take the field for the first time this half, seeing if they can mount a comeback as Tanner Slazinski's 4 wide, 1 in the backfield. Usually this indicates that he's going to run the ball. Let's see what he does in the shotgun. And he's going to hand it off to his man, Bennett Cooper, getting to the outside. That was actually Alec Ward on the run.
9-yard rush there by Alec Ward.
No, that was actually Bennett Cooper. Deep apologies. You know, sometimes 22 looks like 17. What are you going to do? A very good run there, and it's going to go for a first down for the Blackhawks. 1st and 10 on their own 49-yard line. 9:49 remaining in the 3rd quarter. What they do dub is the Champions Quarter.
It looks like on the a little observation here on the sideline for the Blackhawks. It looks like Dominic Curdy is practicing those snaps with his long snapper to make sure he's not getting such a long snap.
Yep. So now 4 wide from the backfield, audible on the play, and they're going to switch around the formation. Twins left. Alec Ward getting very close to that line of scrimmage. Fumbled the snap. Tanner Slazinski lobs it deep, and it goes way overthrown, intended for Alec Ward.
I thought that was a little push and shove there from Lake Orion, but apparently not.
Yeah, that was Dylan Altman, the senior, on the coverage there. He was able to contain Alec Ward, which I guess at the end of the day, that's all you need to do. But still, a very questionable thing to do right there, as it's now 2nd and 10 for the Blackhawks. Ball on their own 49-yard line. Current score is 35-6 with 9:13 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Tanner and company having a bit of a struggle on the day so far. However, he does have a passing
touchdown there for Tanner Slazinski.
Thank you, Evan. 3 wide, 1 in the slot, 1 in the backfield. Tanner dropping back to throw, trying to find a man, but he's going to take it himself. Steps into the pocket, way overthrows his man.
3rd down.
You know, I think like the main issue that I discovered with Tanner as far as passing is concerned, he puts too much into it.
He seems to be running around with it, and then the ball seems to be a on-run throw. So,
which, you know, if you know how to control, you know, your passes, that can be a good thing. That can be actually a very lethal weapon. However, with a guy like Tanner, who still has a bit of jitters, he's shown he can't do that. So anyways, now it's 3rd and 10, 4 wide, 1 in the backfield for Tanner. And
looks like that's going to be offsides.
Nope, false start on the Blackhawks. As the refs discuss what happened. I don't think I saw anything up here in the booth. However,
I thought I saw number 32 for Lake Orion jump, but
32, that would be Carson Cataret, a sophomore on the defensive line. And it's going to be false start on the Blackhawks.
They learned from last week. They knew they couldn't call an encroachment and a false start like they did last week, so they stick with the false start.
It was a very interesting game last week overall, or at least the half that we caught. So now it's going to be 3rd and 15 for the Blackhawks from their own 34-yard line.
On the 44-yard
With 9:06 remaining in the third, score is 35-6 in favor of the Dragons. Looking to go up to 5-1 and essentially clinch a trip to the playoffs for the first time in a good few years.
I thought it was 6 that clinched. Did they change it back to 5?
Well, 5 practically clinched this. Tanner goes down for the sack. Last hit on the play came from number 22, Ilario Marcu, the junior, standing at 5'10" and 175 pounds. 4th down now for the Blackhawks, 4th and 15, and 4th and 20. We're not even going to go there. This is going to be punt formation for the Blackhawks once again.
I think it's way too early. You still got time. No need for a fake punt.
Although they always seem to like to fake the fake punt, if you know what I mean. Just watch on this one right here. Snap called. Going to be a regular snap, and it's going to be a nice kick. Fielded, taken as a fair catch by Mitchell Howell once again. 1st and 10 for the for the Dragons from their own 31-yard line. Once again, Blaze Laurer and company stepping back out onto the field, getting ready for another drive. And let's see what they can come up with up by such a large margin already.
Yeah, Jack, I think the first play from line of scrimmage, it looks to be a running play formation for Lake Orion as number 11 passes through. It is
going to be handed off to number 5. That is Marlon Robinson. So far, we have not been seeing too much action from Kobe Manzo. I didn't see him get injured at any point during the first half. This has been surprisingly a clean game as far as injuries are concerned so far. As now it is 2nd and 8 for Lake Orion. Mitchell Howell
seems to be the same play as.
And it's going to be handed off once again to Robinson. Robinson takes it to the 41-yard line. Going to be 3rd and inches. No, they're going to give him the first down. 1st and 10, Lake Orion Dragons.
It must have been a last-second push by the offensive lineman, but it did. You're right. It did look like a 3rd and inches stop.
Absolutely. So now it's 1st and 10 for Lake Orion on their own 41-yard line. And as Mitchell Howell takes to the outside, and he is going to the 35.
There's a flag on the play at the 45-yard line. It looks like it might be illegal use of hands by the defense.
As now they're discussing. No, it's going to be on Lake Orion as there is no movement of the chains. Holding on Lake Orion. And they're going to move him back 10 yards, going to make a 1st and 10 into a 1st and 20. $7:12 remaining on the clock here in the third quarter. Lake Orion up on the Bloomfield Blackhawks, 35-6. You're listening to Blackhawk football on 88.1 WBFH.
And watching it on BHSTV.
Don't say the news. We're not on the news as of right now, Evan. So it's going to be now 4 wide, 1 in the backfield for Blaze Laurer as he is now scoping out his defense. Back in the shotgun once more. Play is on. Let's see what he can do. Once again, Mitchell Howell in the motion. Moves out to the right side. As he drops back to throw, it's going to be a simple handoff. As
his own guy got him again.
Yep, that was Robinson on the run. Not able to generate a lot from it, though. And now it's going to bring up a 2nd down, and they're going to say 2nd and 21. I would say more 2nd and 20 or 2nd and 19, but I'm not the line judge here. As it's now 4 wide, 1 in the backfield for Blaze Laurer and company. Blaze
snap.
Dropping back to throw. Finds his man deep, and it's going to be dropped by number 20, Mitchell DeBrincat. Very interesting name right there, but it's going to bring up 3rd and very long for the Lake Orion Dragons.
What the Lake Orion Dragons have started to do in this half they're going backwards just like the Blackhawks were in the first half. So it's now the game of who can go forwards the correct way.
As Blaze drops back to throw, throws it over the middle. It's going to be tipped.
Great deflection there by...
It's going to be deflected by number 30 for the Blackhawks. That
would
is
be Leonardo...
Andrew Mina.
Oh, I was reading the wrong name.
Oh, no, it actually is Leonardo. Yes, Leonardo Mina. I was crossing my own names there, but now it's 4th and very long as Lake Orion sends out their punting unit for the 2nd time today and the 2nd time this half. So far, the Blackhawks have actually done pretty well at defending.
I think Loya talked to him about halftime. Because half of Lake Orion's offense is that QB run out. So every time you hold that QB run, you can let it go.
Ball takes a Lake Orion bounce to the 38-yard line of the Bloomfield Hills Blackhawks. 1st and 10. There is a flag on the play, though. Although this has been a clean game as far as injuries are concerned, it certainly has not been a clean game as far as penalties are concerned.
There's been a ton of laundry on the carpet, but it's not laundry night.
Well, I mean, I do my laundry on Fridays, but that is not...
No, you're at a football game on Friday, Jack. Otherwise, you'd be currently doing your laundry, right?
See, good point. But now it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Blackhawks, but the penalty might back them up a fair bit as the referees are discussing who it shall be against. As
I think it's against the Lake Orion, maybe? He signaled to one side, and now he's going to have a town hall meeting with his other men in the stripes.
That's going to be on the Blackhawks. That's going to move him back a fair bit of yards, possibly some illegal defending. It's going to bring up 1st and 10 from within their own 30. Now the defense have essentially been neutralized. Not a single point on the board this half. No one's even crossed the 50 so far.
Again, they keep going backwards instead of forwards. They're stuck in reverse. Got to go to the mechanic.
Yep. And let's see if Tanner went to the football mechanic on his last trip to the sideline. 3 wide, 1 in the backfield. Tanner drops back to throw. Finds Alec Ward. He's got room to run to the 40, 45, 50. Barrels across
now we're
the
across
50.
the 50.
Odd how just after I make my observation, it goes barreling across the 50. 1st down and 10 for the Blackhawks. And if they want to start mounting a comeback, they better start doing it now, if I'm going to be brutally honest. 1st and 10 on the Lake Orion 47-yard line. Blackhawks now officially moving and grooving, shaking and baking on offense for the first time tonight. I mean, for the first time this half. 5 wide for Tanner. Tanner rolls right, and he's going to throw it to the ground.
At least he let go of it, because that would have been a loss of yards of at least 10 yards.
Yeah, I'm surprised, though, because that looked like it could have been called for intentional grounding. It was looking a bit shaky there.
It looked like there was a receiver in the area.
I know, but what I'm saying is that it looked a bit shaky, you know?
I got you.
So now, here we go. It's 2nd and 10 for the Blackhawks. Ball on the 47. As Tanner sends his troops out to the field. It's going to be 4 wide, 1 in the backfield. Bennett Cooper by his side. Tanner hands it off to Cooper, and Cooper fumbles the ball on the play.
Like Lake Orion has it.
Up by Lake Orion. Tanner, the quarterback, getting that one as the fumble was picked up by number 25, Sinai Pillett. Lake Orion gets their 2nd turnover on the day, and it's the first fumble for Bennett Cooper tonight.
1st and 10, Dragons.
And surprisingly, though, also only the 2nd turnover for the Blackhawks, at least so far tonight, as the ball's now on the 32. Lake Orion working with excellent field position. 1st and 10 now is Blaze takes the field in the shotgun. 2 wide, 2 tight ends, 1 in the backfield with him. Hands it off to Manzo, and he gets 5 on the play. And that is the magic of man zone. Gets 5 yards, or gets 3 yards off of basically just falling forward. That's 9 feet off just falling. That's impressive. Second down and 8 now for the Lake Orion Dragons. Blaze hands it off, but he's going to get swallowed up in the backfield. Third down and long.
Sometimes falling slowly is a good thing.
Yes. Third down and very long now for Lake Orion if they want to get a first down here. They just gotta chuck it deep. Or it might just be the fact that Lake Orion's doing some very conservative play calling right now, as it is 4:21 remaining in the third, 35-6 is the current score. Blaze drops back to throw, finds a man on a bubble screen, and he's going to be able to go not the distance. Fourth down.
That was the perfect bubble screen now, Jack. That
Number 7 on that
worked out
tackle,
perfectly.
Bailey
The
Slater.
blocker was running to the right, and then he was wide open.
Fourth down, 7 Dragons.
So it's 4th and 7 now for Lake Orion. Blaze and company stay out on the field as he's once again in the shotgun, very rarely going under center is Blaze Laurer tonight. 4 wide, 1 in the backfield as Blaze rolls right, finds his man, he's gonna catch it, and he's gonna get the first down and a few yards more. That was number 10 on the reception, Drew Vanek. A name I haven't said much since the end of the first.
He kept pushing there to get the extra 3 yards on the sideline there.
So now Lake Orion's in the red zone as it is 3:30 remaining in the third quarter. Man in motion. And it's going to be a pitch off to Mitchell Howell. Howell gets to the outside, flag on the play, so this play won't matter.
On the play.
And so with that, Mitchell Howell walks into the end zone. However, everyone kind of knew that it wasn't going to count for anything. And it's going to bring Lake Orion back out of the red zone. 3:20 remaining in the third. A very quick moving third quarter as Lake Orion has pretty much taken the Jets off.
It looks like there is a meeting now with the officials. They don't know exactly what to call.
That's going to be on Lake Orion, though. As the refs get ready to send their call to the anxiously waiting people. It's going to be on the Blackhawks, actually. 2 penalties on the Blackhawks, surprisingly. Or I think it's offsetting penalties.
I think what the first one was is a throw to the ground, maybe?
As it seems to be there's some penalty confusion down there. That can be guaranteed as it's 1st and 10 for Lake Orion, at least as of right now. Refs seem to finally have decided on what the penalty will be, as actually they're meeting now with Coach Loria. This is getting rather awkward for both teams right now, as
because one referee went over to Lake Orion to explain something, and now the head is over with Loria. So this is another one of our penalty confusions like we had last.
And touchdown's not going to stand, but that will take us to the 3-yard line. 1st and goal, Dragons.
It must have been an offsetting then.
I guess so. No, wait, the touchdown stood. Touchdown Lake Orion. So now Connor Ross out to take the PAT. Well then, that was something interesting.
Referee's still talking with Loria.
So now it's 41-6 with the pending PAT. Possibly one of the more anticlimactic touchdowns I've seen so far tonight. Out of the 7 TDs scored, 6 of them by the Dragons.
There was something about something with the illegal use of hands.
Something about that. As the ball sails to the uprights, extra point is good. And it was, and from what it sounds like, it was offsides on the Blackhawks, and then a whole cavalcade of other penalties. But still doesn't matter. The score is now Lake Orion Dragons 42, Bloomfield Hills Blackhawks 6. With 3:20 remaining in the third quarter.
So far, the defense, though, has been wonderful for the Blackhawks in this second half. This is their first touchdown with 3 minutes and 20 to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, you can commend them for that. It's not been quite as bad as it was. More so the first quarter was kind of when the defense hit its low point.
I would agree.
Yeah. So now the kickoff is coming in from Connor Ross. The man, and the penalty is enforced on the kickoff, moving the kickoff up to the 45-yard line of the Blackhawks. Well, this is rather perplexing, is it not?
I'm confused.
Either way, penalty enforced on the kickoff.
So because it was a touchdown, they don't do it on the PAT because obviously they can't move Lake Orion back.
Yeah.
So I think
therefore forward. So now a PAT a kickoff from within the team zone half. This is the first time I've ever seen this in football. Let's witness it.
It's from midfield.
No, it's from the 45 of the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
So now let's see what happens. I'm very intrigued. And Connor Ross kicks it from the 45, and that easily sails through the. Nope, not through the uprights. I was hoping that would have been the case.
The whistle was already blown, though, it seemed, when it was still sailing near the 10.
And it's going to be false start on Lake Orion, so it's going to move them back to midfield.
Okay, so do you think this advantage gives them a easier way to kick it out of bounds for a touchback, or?
Well, I mean, in Michigan at least, if the ball goes into the end zone at all, it's a touchback. So once again, we're seeing something that is kind of rare, a kickoff from within a team zone half. So this will be now, I guess, the second time I've seen it happen, and it happened back to back. So here we go. Here comes the kickoff, and it's gonna sail through the back of the end zone once again.
I thought that was going to the field goal post again.
It might just be perception, my friend, as it is now 1st and 10 for the Blackhawks as it brings it out to the 20. It's really a net gain of 25 to 30 yards at most for Lake Orion.
Now Tanner Straczynski takes over again, 42-6, Lake Orion, as it seems we're going to try to get Tanner Straczynski to push the pace a little bit. Now I think they're going too slow to the point where you slow down, you get a play, and then you're like, oh wait, we have to go again.
Yeah, it's been an intriguing third quarter so far. 3:20 remaining as we're getting ready for it. Empty backfield for Tanner as he drops back to throw. Pocket collapsing, gets it off to number 7, Bailey Snyder. Bailey Snyder got room to run, takes it to the 38-yard line.
That is what you need. You have a wide open receiver or running back in the backfield that you go forward to for a first down and more.
That was a lot more on that one. So 1st and 10 now. Ball on the 35-yard line. As it's now 3:11, and let's hold on just one quick second. Actually, let's continue on with things as is. 1st and 10 now for the Blackhawks as we are getting ready at one of the backfield once again for Tanner Straczynski, man in motion. Drops back for the play action pass, throws it. It's going to get tipped out of the hands of Alec Ward as
we are pausing 10 seconds for station identification.
Intended receiver.
Hit music and so much more. 88.1 WBHF, Bloomfield Hills.
And with that, everyone, welcome back to Blackhawk football here on 88.1 and on BHS TV. 2:16 remains in the third. Lake Orion up 42-6 on the Blackhawks. 2nd and 10 is the current down for the Blackhawks after a pass went in and out of the hands of star receiver Alec Ward. Empty backfield for Tanner Slazinski, 5 wide. Let's see what he can come up with. Drops back to throw. Finds his man, and he gets smothered on that one. 3rd down and around 5 or 6 on the play. Ferris on the reception, and Andrew Bryant on the tackle.
There was, although it was smothered, it was a great idea by Tanner Slazinski. He got 2 yards. Now it's 3rd and 3 to go on the 41 of Bloomfield.
That it is true. With a minute 23 remaining. And once again, empty backfield for Tanner, who is in the shotgun. Tanner takes it, finds Alec Ward, but he drops it.
Got to capitalize there.
4th down, Blackhawks.
Intended receiver number 17, Alec Ward.
Alec Ward doing a very uncharacteristic play, dropping what in most cases would have been an easy catch. So now, and now here we are once again, folks. Actually, Tanner and company staying out on the field for 4th down.
I like this call.
With 40 seconds, this should be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Once again, it's another empty backfield set for Tanner Slazinski. Tanner dropping to back, throws it deep, and it is out of the hands of Christian Ferris, incomplete. So with the running clock, that should bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter here.
Why is it a running clock?
I think at this point it might have become a forfeit in football. You just run the clock. 1st down, and that will bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter with the score of the Lake Orion Dragons up 42-6 on your Bloomfield Blackhawks. You're watching Blackhawk football on BHS TV and listening to it on 88.1 WBFH, The Biff.
Everyone loves winning, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Those who play the game with compassion and honesty are the true winners. Don't play dirty or cheap. Sports benefits when everybody respects the game. No matter how much skill you have, it's nothing compared to the true skill of sportsmanship. Respect your team, the game, and everyone involved. Just show how skilled you are. That's community information from your friends at the Biff Radio Network.
And with that, everyone, welcome back to Blackhawk football on BHS TV and on 88.1 WBFH. Shout out to Eddie Eichenhorn listening, although he's not up here in the booth with us here. I am in part saying that so that I do not endure more physical abuse. Current score is 42-6 in favor of the Lake Orion Dragons. First, as that was 4th down, and now Blaze Lore and company take the field once again. And so let's see what he can do with this one once again. That's going to be a few wide, few in the backfield. And I think now, yep, Lake Orion's put in their backups with number 12 now under center. First play from scrimmage from him, a handoff, Dom Bruno.
Handoff to number 2, Blaze Lauer.
And the handoff was actually complete. So
maybe it was a switch position there.
Maybe.
End around, there you go.
Yep, so now Dom Bruno getting his first reps of tonight as he once again is going to hand it off and is going to get an absolute demolishing. And it's going to be once again number 7 now on that one. It's going to be Austin Cole, the senior, as it's now going to be 3rd down and 10.
3rd down 10. This is a way to get the crowd going with a stop for the Blackhawks. And the height.
And it gets handed off to a new guy, number 98.
Ball is loose.
And Patrick Rye on his first carry of the ball game fumbles it. However, it's 4th down. It's really interesting to note about the new quarterback that came in, Dom Bruno. He's actually 6 feet 2 inches and only in his junior year. Man, That is so tall that I'm pretty sure John Elway has probably already called him to draft him to the Denver Broncos.
Are you trying to suggest the Denver Broncos need a QB?
No, I'm making a joke about John Elway. So here we go, 4th down and 6 for the Lake Orion Dragons. And they're going to keep Bruno and company out there. Let's see if Bruno will finally get a chance to attempt a pass on the night. 4th down, 10-10 left in the game. Bruno, play action, rolls out to his right, thrown, it's going to be bobbled, intercepted by the Blackhawks is Nick DePonio. Interception of the year? I think so. The first glimmer I've seen all night, and the first attempted pass for Don Bruno on the night ends in an interception, make him 0-1 with a single pick and no touchdowns.
Absolutely, and that again got the band in your student section pumping, so I think that will help the offense of Tanner Slazinski.
So here we go, it's 1st and 10 for Tanner Slazinski and company. Now that it seems to be that Lake Orion has sent in their full backup core, it's going to be interesting to see now what the Bloomfield Blackhawks will be able to do against the backup squad for Lake Orion. And actually, that's Nick DePonio under center. Blackhawks have sent in their backups as well. Tanner Slazinski standing on the sidelines. It's going to be a handoff, and only gains around 1 or 2 on the play.
I think this is to get Nico some much playing time. Tanner's been struggling a little bit tonight. Just needs some mental breather, I think.
Yeah, handoff there was Jordan Hamilton. 2nd down, 8. Of a rather intriguing little set of plays right there. They're going to keep DePonio out there. They've sent out the whole backup core, and we're going to be watching some backup football for the 4th quarter.
That's exciting.
Oh, it's going to be very intriguing. 2nd and 8 now for the Blackhawks. Nick DePonio under center. 4 wide, 1 in the backfield for DePonio. As he drops back to throw. Trying to move in the pocket, and he's going to just try and take it himself as I think
got
he
back
went
to
down.
the line of scrimmage. I think he had about 4 or 5 seconds at the time he got to the ball until he got pressured there. 4 or 5 seconds. No pressure.
And well, DePonio's 2nd play as he tried to get something out of it. You can commend him for that sort of effort. But at the end of the day, he did not gain anything on that one. So 3rd down and 10, 3rd down and 8 for the Blackhawks as DePonio heads under center once again. Or actually, I think
DePonio's still in, yep.
Yep, DePonio is still in. I thought that was Slazinski for a second. 3 in the backfield, 2 wide for the Blackhawks. Going to be another handoff, and it's going to get absolutely stuffed.
Do you think they go for it at this point, or 7 minutes to go in the ball game? Do you think they go for it?
Number 11.
I mean, I don't know. I think that with sending the backups, they have pretty much admitted defeat, and they will not go for it. They will punt the ball away. It does seem, though, that the Blackhawks have, in essence, admitted defeat, as much as they don't like to say that. But it is true with 7:24 and counting remaining in the ball game. Your score is the Lake Orion Dragons 42, the Blackhawks 6. I think they might have even sent in a backup punter. No, that's still Dominic Kirby.
Another high snap. There's been plenty of those tonight for the Blackhawks as the fair catch is called at the 49-yard line, almost being ran into.
Yep, Mitchell Howell gains that, puts it down, and yep, he's gonna take a break. You know, he has put in what he needed to, and it's gonna now be 1st and 10 for the Lake Orion Dragons from their own 47-yard line. With 7:04 remaining in the ball game and counting. Remember, folks, it's only the score after this quarter that counts in the record books. With 3 wide, 1 in the backfield, Don Bruno gets ready for another one in the shotgun. Bruno hands it off once again, and they're going to
stop for
1 yard.
Number 7 on the carry, Austin Roll, brought down by 68.
So I think now what we've gotten at is this game will probably just let the clock run out, and 42-6 might just be the final, as Lake Orion has 3 wide, 1 in the backfield.
I mean, unless we get 6, 7 times
within 6 minutes. Hey, I've seen crazier things. And it's going to be, after that one, it's going to be 3rd down at midfield. So now at this point, with less than 6 minutes to go in the game, pretty much now we're just killing time towards the end of this one, folks. Lake Orion has 3 wide, 1 in the backfield for Dom Bruno. Bruno hands it off, and he's going to take it for about a yard or 2.
Number 3 on
that
the carry.
was, I think that was number 3 on the carry, Alwyn Mosen, a 6-foot junior. With running back listed as secondary position. 5:28 remaining in the game.
Some upcoming games for both teams. Lake Orion upcoming has Rochester next week, and Parkston and then Monroe to round out the season. For your Blackhawks, we go to the Swamp next week over at West Bloomfield, and then senior night is the 18th of October, and then finishes off the season versus Rochester.
Awesome right there, Evan, as Lake Orion sends out the punting unit once again, 4th down with 5 minutes exactly remaining and counting. Running down as much clock as they can. Easy punt. Gonna take a few bounces, and I think that might have hit a Blackhawk first. So I think it's gonna be Lake Orion football.
Let's see what the official call is here.
You can tell it bounced off someone at around the 22-yard line. So hold on, let's see what happens.
It looks like the Lake Orion offense is coming onto the field.
Yeah, so it's going to be Lake Orion football.
Going to be on the 22-yard line.
Or no, it's going to be, hold on, this is very confusing. It's going to be Blackhawk football. It definitely bounced off someone at around the 22-yard line. However, it was not off a Blackhawk, so it will be 1st down for Bloomfield with 4:32 and counting remaining in the ball game. This is homecoming football here on BHS TV and 88.1 WBFH as the clock continues to wind down on this ball game. You know, Evan, not going the way that the Blackhawks probably intended or hoped for. But, you know, what are some things that you think the Blackhawks can take away after this play, 1st and 10, for Toponio?
I think the Blackhawks can take away, hey, in the second half, they've been pretty strong on the defensive front. I think only allowing 1 touchdown. So their defensive front has been improved. What we need to improve, or what we now need to focus on, is our offense sticking together and trying to find rhythm, because I don't think at any point tonight there was a rhythm besides for that 1 touchdown.
Yeah, and like, here's the thing. When the Blackhawks are good, they have shown immense amounts of promise tonight and throughout the season. It's just that they haven't had enough times of stringing together those real big, you know, lights out plays. And instead, they've been more having like these floundering moments as Toponio's in the shotgun as he hands it off, and it's going to go nowhere. 2nd down, and it's a fumble picked up by, no fumble on the play. 2nd down, 3 minutes remaining. We should be getting probably 5 or 6 more plays in the game before we send it away. 2:47 and counting. 2nd and 14 from the 20 for the Blackhawks. Obviously, with all these sorts of losses, they're going to drop down to 0-6. You know, it's demoralizing to lose by, you know, as much as they have pretty much every game this season.
Absolutely.
And not even have a win to their name. So it's demoralizing, but you got to just pick your head back up and keep charging forward. 2:19, second and 14. Should be probably the last drive of the game. Gets a man to move. False start on the Blackhawks. 2:12 remaining in the ball game.
What do you think Coach Gloria is when he gets back to the locker room, telling his team to keep their mind up, and how he's addressing that?
Well, I mean, you know, Coach Loria came from Lawson, so he knew success. You know, but I think at this point you just got to tell yourself, and you got to tell the boys that, look, these losses are hard. There's no denying that. Granted, like I haven't listened into any of the locker room conversations, but you know, you gotta inspire confidence in your players. That's what defines what I think to be, you know, that sort of great coaches, to not only celebrate the good times, but to keep your players motivated during the hard times. DePonio under center now, minute 33 remaining as he drops back to throw. Scrambles into open room, and he's going to get a good amount of yardage on this one, taking it up to the 25-yard line.
He got the first down. If it was
at the 23,
it was back. He ran 10 yards with it, Jack.
But the first down is at the 33-yard line.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is, if there wasn't a backup, he would have got that first down.
True. As we now fall within a minute, we're probably going to get one final play to mark off this homecoming football extravaganza partnership between the Bloomfield Hills Schools Television Network and 88.1 WBFH. That's W, Bloomfield Hills. And now DePonio in the shotgun, and he's going to go long for this one. Throws it deep, and it's caught by number 88, 40, 30, 20, 10. Touchdown Blackhawks. Number 88 on that one. On the catch, Derek Lee, the freshman, gets playing time on varsity. And you know what he says, Coach Loria? Give it to me. I'll take it to the house.
Absolutely. That's a great way to get the fans to go home happy, although it's 42-12. That's a great way to get them going. Bit too late, though.
Well, you know what they say?
What's that?
Last touchdown wins.
This isn't golf or rugby.
Last try wins, yes. So, oh, nope, they're going to call it back. No touchdown, unfortunately. We're waltzing this one back, folks. Man, just when, like, we thought we were going to have something great. Ball.
I'm telling you, they keep throwing laundry on us.
Either way, 42-8 now, and we should maybe get one final play off as the Blackhawks and the Dragons are lining up at the 50. No, we're moving it all the way back now.
They're getting their sprints in tonight.
Yep, to the 35-yard line, 26.8 seconds remaining. We should get one last play. What?
What was the point of moving them back if just to sprint them back up?
I don't know. So now, one final play is what we should be getting off. First down and 10 for the Blackhawks. 26.8 seconds remain for DePonio and company. Let's see if they can get anything going to end off this game and send the Blackhawk faithful home happy.
Seems like they're having a good time still. They got the speaker going down in the student section down there.
Yep, DePonio drops back to throw, lobs it up deep, and it's going to be a collision in the air, incomplete. And that right there, seeing as the clock is still running, that will be the ball game here, folks. The final score here, the Lake Orion Dragons 42, the Bloomfield Blackhawks 6. Blackhawks drop down to 0-6 on the year, while the Lake Orion Dragons secure their first winning record in a good long while, as Lake Orion, led by the likes of Blaze Lower and Kobe Manzo and Mitchell Howell and others, put together the win over the Blackhawks.
That was 42-6. A lot to take away from that, as the defense needs to tighten up their gaps. Offense needs to find the rhythm.
Yes, and with that, folks, thanks for tuning in to Blackhawk Homecoming Football on 88.1 WBFH and BHS TV. Be sure to keep that dial tuned to 88.1 and that TV tuned to BHS TV.